Hello and welcome back to another Art Fabula video. I'm going to tell you a story today that has something to do with these guys here. Long before I created any toy or I have the idea to create a toy, I collected toys. I didn't have so much money, but I bought maybe one or two art toys. And we are talking about 2004. 2004 was the year that I discovered art toys. And with my little money from my studies and from my working as a graphic designer, I could buy those two toys. One of those was this one here. It's just a keychain by Tuma. This one was very big in the time I bought the toys. But I had another one and I don't remember even which one it was. I think it was a Donnie from Kid Robot. Yes, now I don't think about that. I had some kind of idea of what an art toy was. It was something new, at least in Spain, where I lived. Well, I investigate. I did my project, my final project in the art school. About, well, art toys. I made a magazine and one of those articles was about art toys. So I was investigating, I was reading a lot, I was searching a lot in the websites of those time. It was nearly impossible to search anything there, but blogs and something similar. For me, art toys was a pop culture phenomenon. It was something new and something very fresh. It was a toy made pop art. It's like a picture where you draw something. Well, with the time and moving here to Sweden where I live right now, I didn't have the time or the energy or the money or the economy, well, call it what you want, to buy more art toys. So under all the period I've been living here in Sweden, I didn't thought about art toys. Well, that's a lie, because it has been a few periods of time under these 18 years that I thought very much about the art toys. In what sense? Well, in a sense that I wanted to come back in some ways to collect art toys. I began to study as a teacher here in the university, and I found a job here as a teacher also. And then I began to get a little bit money for saving and also for putting on these kind of things. So, well, now that I have a little bit of money, I wanted to buy art toys. So I came back to those websites, those blogs from that time, and nearly all of them had disappeared. For example, the Kid Robots forum, where it was a catastrophe. And I follow a few other blogs here and there. I think they still are available, those blogs, but they are, well, not as important as they were there. So I slowly came back to the art toy community, watching videos on YouTube and well, observing all that was around me. But I wasn't integrated in this new community. And I mean new community because I still had the idea of the old community, of the community from the 2004, the one that I had in the memory, the one that I have here. When I was studying graphic design in Spain in the school. That idea was the following. It was an art toy that was made in China, of course, mass produced. And mass produced, I don't mean 2,000 and 4,000, I mean 100, 200, 500 of these toys. With the same color, not changing so much the color, but a design, a special design that you, the artist, create and then produce in China in maybe 100, 200, etc. That was my idea of art toys, and that was the real idea of art toys back in time. So I still had this idea. Of course, when I came back to this world, I began searching the same kind of toys that I had and that I knew back in the days. So everything that I got when I came back was exactly the same. But I wasn't too alert to the new trends and new things that was happening around me and around the community. But more of that a little later. So when I came back and watched all these old toys again and had a little bit of money, and instead for buying those toys I began to create them, I decided to, well, produce my first toy. And you know the story, you have it here in the video. The first one was Eggy, and this is Eggy here. As you see, this is an art toy. This is something very similar to what I knew in this time. I didn't know more about this here, or maybe the world around. So I created a toy that was, well, in a basic color scheme, and then I could produce in China in small quantities. And my thought were, I can produce this one, I can make an art toy at least after all those years, and then I can sell it. So I created that one, and it resulted on this guy here, Eggy, a very static, very I mean, it's very pleased to watch it. I think it's very cute. A lot of people loves Eggy, but it's a static one, and it's made by rotomolding. You know, this process, this Western process to create toys. It's like an action figure, maybe, but it's not movable. It doesn't have any articulation. Just, well, there are two static arms and two static legs. So that was my idea of an art toy, and this is an art toy. This is an art toy. Nowadays you can move, and back in the days you can also move, but it was a hard vinyl toy with maybe one color scheme. If you sold all this color scheme, then you could produce the same toy with another color scheme. And it was the first idea I had with this one. I still have the designs of the colors that I wanted to produce after this one, but it never came to that because I left this idea for other kind of idea. A little later, when I continue searching for more information about the trends and the new art toy community from well, the later 2000s, I understood that I was just watching a very small part of the community. Nothing big, but just a very, very, very small part. And it was the old part, the granddaddy of the community, because I have neglected totally a very big, very, very big, and a very, very old also community, the sofubi community. So what did I do? Well, first I began trying to understand what this sofubi was. I didn't understand it in the beginning. I thought that a lot of those toys were awful. The artist toys were awful in my, well, small mind at that time. But afterwards I began understanding where everything came from. You know, Godzilla and these the 50s in Japan, or the 60s in Japan, when they need to renew their way to make things with very few well, raw materials, and a lot of problems trying to create a new society after the war. So with those limited resources, they create toys with a method that was a copy of the method they used in the US. And they call it the sofubi toys, with Godzilla and Ultraman, Kaijus, and those kind of toys. These sofubi toys, soft plastic toys, was something that I didn't understand when I began creating my own toys. And when I continue investigated, then I began to understand this sofubi thing. And then I wanted to create a sofubi toy. I wanted to go into this community and continue to create more and more and more and more and more and more and more. What was the problem? The problem is that it was nearly impossible to create a sofubi toy in Japan. I came to the community too late for that. There was a certain people, a group of people from the US and from Spain and from other countries that had the luck to, in the middle of the 2000s, find a few factories in Japan and create these sofubi toys in Japan. Very good quality, very good artists. I loved all of them, but I was too late to the party. So for me it was very difficult to find a factory in Japan. So I continued to put all my old toys, King Tsar, Mecha Tsar, that were more like action figures. Also Captain Bebop, that one is another story, and Eggy. So I continued to sell those, to trying to make the Art Fabula community bigger and bigger. At the same time, on Twitter, I began to make some kind of connections with Japanese people, showing my products, trying to understand what sofubi was, talking to artists there in Twitter and Instagram and other social media. And they tried to explain to me, and I tried to find some kind of connection to go to Japan and Japan factory and produce my toys. I found one person that was incredible, very good person that helped me creating this toy you see here. And that's the story of today, why I'm so happy about these guys here, Bonnie, why I love so much this toy here. This guy has his own company, his own toy. I'm not going to say what company or what toy he has. And he offered his free time to help me create this thing. He wanted me to create my first sofubi toy made in Japan. And thanks to him, and I hope he sees this video, thanks to him I'm here today. And I have those guys here with me. He helped me understand the process to make a sofubi toy, the process to design a sofubi toy, and the process of molding and painting sofubi toys. It was something new for me, and he began to explain to me, and I began to understand. And after maybe, well, I don't remember how many months, but a lot of months, I got this toy here, the Bonnie toy. Bonnie is a soft vinyl figure, and it is very similar to, as you see here, Eggy. It was created more or less in the same aspect, the same character design and the same soul as Eggy, with, well, those cute attributes that you can see here. New colors, and new combinations of colors, and the ears too. So that was my idea. He helped me create this one. Bonnie came to life, and I began learning more and more about the painting process of painting sofubi toy, because this was very different from what I did with King Tsar and Mecha Tsar. For painting those toys that you see here, I needed something more than just an airbrush. I had an airbrush and I painted everything by hand, freehand, and it was very difficult to paint those lines you can see here, and those lines you can see here in the trousers in this, and well, all the details. It was very, very difficult for me. So for that, he helped me also create painted masks. And these are the painted masks that I got from him and from the factory. They have another video about painted masks, and is this kind of well, mask that you put your toy here, the part of the toy that you want to paint, and then paint around the toy. So I got a few of those to help me paint this sofubi toy. This is the mask, and all of these masks that I have here are made in Japan. So they are Japanese produced masks, very good quality. So in the end, I had Bonnie in my hands, as I told you before, and I began understanding more and more the sofubi toy community and the sofubi toy process, the making of the sofubi toy, and well, everything around it. So thanks to this guy, thanks to Bonnie, I have my first sofubi toy made in Japan ever. And now you know that I have one more, the Gecko one, and there are coming two more in 2025. So this is all the story about this guy, Bonnie, and why I love it so much, why this toy is so important for me, because it has opened a door that I will never ever close, and is the sofubi community and the sofubi production in Japan. So here you have it, Bonnie, with those incredible color variations that I usually try to make, and a real sofubi toy made in Japan. So, well, if you like it, you know where to find it. If you see this video in the right time, I mean when I put it out on the YouTube, then you need to know that on Friday you will have the opportunity to get those one-offs here in the website if you are fast, but you need to subscribe to the VIP community. So, nothing more. I just wanted to share my story and everything around the creation of Bonnie sofubi toy made in Japan. And I hope you think it was interesting, because one toy can change everything. So thank you very much for being here. Thank you much for hearing my story. Please leave your comments here. And well, see you next time. Bye.